Guys, this is the Christmas edition. As you can tell, we're festive and ready to cook some holiday eats.
Can we hear the bells?
I can hear the bells. I can hear the bells.
Okay, cool.
Real quick, Rosa, how's your holidays going?
Oh, it's going great. I'm excited for Friday.
What's Friday?
We're off.
Stop it. Oh my God. Okay, well, are you cooking anything on Friday?
No.
All right, day off. Day off, stay off. So I brought today a super easy, quick, like side dish. And if you're a vegetarian, this is like a flawless seasonal, almost entree style. Warm salad, cold salad, it's really up to you. So as you know, it's the winter season, and I brought in some Brussels sprouts. Do you like Brussels sprouts?
I love Brussels sprouts, especially with bacon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're gonna stay a little healthier and vegetarian.
Yeah.
But yes, if you guys are regular eaters, bacon and Brussels sprouts together are like a match made in heaven. But we're gonna do a little bit different. We're gonna kind of keep it lighter. A lot of people, choose not to eat pork as much anymore. Right. And Brussels sprouts are in season, and that's why I wanted to showcase them today, because we go to the market, we don't know what to buy when our vegetables, and it's really nice to know what's in season. And if you're shopping quick, it's good to grab what's fresh. And cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage family, they're all in season. So I highly suggest getting those guys. So we all know them whole, and they're kind of a pain to cook because they take long. We don't know if they're cooked all the way in the middle. So I came around and just shaved them. I cut the ends off, cut them in half, and just hit them with a knife.
Can you use like a mandolin
You can use a mandolin. You can almost use a grater.
Oh.
Like if you have a thick side of the grater, you can just grate it. It won't come out as I guess like chunky, but it'll get the job done. So I just took a regular bag of Brussels sprouts and I cut the ends off. I cut them in half, and I just sliced them on the cutting board. The reason why I did this is I want to show you how to make them faster.
Okay, cool.
Easier, less oven space, one pan dish, and they don't even take that long to cook. It's almost like pasta. Like if you wanted al dente, you would cook it that long. Or if you wanted softer, you would cook it longer. This is one of those where you can throw it in the pan, flash it, and eat it nice and crunchy, almost like a warm salad. Or you can go slow and low and stew them and kind of get like wilted spinach and more caramelization. So it's really up to you. But if you wouldn't mind bringing up the bowls, what I have is onion today, and just sliced, again, cut them in half and slice. Some mixed nuts. I had pecans on the recipe, but I think it really doesn't matter. So any candied nuts or seasoned will do. I just
want them unsalted? Just
unsalted,
plain nuts, right?
Yes. Some craisins.
Oh, basically dried cranberries.
Yes, yes, dried cranberries. You can also use raisins. You can do dried berries. You can do any kind of dried berry. We have shredded Parmesan for the topper. A little mix, kind of a warm seasoning blend of honey, olive oil,
right here,
cinnamon, and nutmeg.
Can you see that color?
It's going to be loose, and that's what you want. It's not so sweet. Like the olive oil you use kind of mellows that sweetness from the honey, but Brussels sprouts are super bitter, so having these sweet elements are going to make it nice and like just warm. So it's pretty easy. Oh, the apple. It's not on the recipe, but if you have an old apple, this is the time to use it. If it's too soft, you can cook with apples.
Will they still be able to do it without the apple?
Yes. Okay. I just thought it would be fun. I had an old apple in my in my vegetables. And I'm like, you know what? It's a perfect time to talk about using old fruits that are starting to go and they're nice and caramelized and they have rich sugars, natural sugars, and they're going to add a little element to it.
Do you have anybody on, Andrea?
Yes. Hey.
Thank you.
Our A1, day one. Okay, so I have my pan on low. I'm going to kind of work it slow. You don't want high heat because you could risk of burning them before they cook. So I'm on like medium low.
You're going to toss it or you're going to use something for it?
Oh, that's right. I'll take a spatula. I don't need my cooking utensil. What kind of chef am I with no cooking utensil? It really do be like that sometimes. And when it is like that sometimes, go to Smart Final, pick yourself up a spatula,
Like yay?
or ask Rosa. Yep. And she got you. Okay, so I'm going to start with my onions. And again, this is going to be a slow working pan, so you don't want too much, you don't want a lot of sizzle. A little control will help you. I feel like I'm going to like a walk station. I like this.
I kind of thought that's what you were going to
The
do.
flick of the wrist.
Yeah.
During the end, we will be doing that. Okay, so get your onions working, a little bit more olive oil. I'm using about maybe 3 tablespoons total.
You want me to move this?
Yes. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add half of the nuts. And this is going to help kind of season the oil and give it a nice roasty, toasty feel before we add the Brussels sprouts in. We're kind of infusing the oil with caramelized onions, nuts, and then we're going to throw in the half of the dried cranberries to kind of bring them up just a little bit to heat and kind of loosen them a little bit.
It already smells great.
It really does. Like as soon as the onions hit, I don't know, I love onions. You like onions?
I love onions, but also the nuts.
Yeah.
The nuts, you're starting to get a little like a nutty smell going on.
Yes.
A scent. Yeah. It's
And this is a lot different than the other cooking techniques we've been showing you because your pan is meant to be low. You don't want to risk burning anything because it's kind of a one-pot deal. So if you burn it, you might as well just start over. So what we're going to do is add in the Brussels sprouts to it. Probably not all of them. You don't want to overcrowd your pan. Still want to hear the sizzle.
Mm-hmm. It's sizzling.
And then what we're going to do is take a little bit of this honey olive oil and just pour it over. We'll save a little bit. You'll notice, if you do make this blend, you'll notice that the olive oil rises above the honey. Use just that oil and save this delicious mix to drizzle over the top. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 sauce. So as soon as you have some, like, you can see once you toss the Brussels sprouts that they're starting to get coated in that oil. As soon as you see it all coated and nice and shiny, this is when it's time to turn your pan on and start getting things moving. But you want to get things working first because this salad takes layers. So I'm going to turn it up to medium and kind of just let it sit for a minute until I start to hear some crackling and a little bit of popping.
It has some nice colors going on in there too.
It really does.
It's very pretty.
It really does. You're not going to add salt just yet because the nuts have natural salt to them. The Brussels sprouts have natural seasoning. The onions are going to caramelize. So you kind of want things to marry a little bit before you start seasoning. And in this time, do you have anything? Any fun facts?
Yeah, actually, Brussels sprouts, as much as people might not like that little bitter taste that it has, they're actually extremely good for you. They're high in vitamin K, A, and C. They're high in antioxidants and fiber, and the cranberries as well. Any dried fruit, they're actually really high in fiber and antioxidants. So this is actually a really good side.
And it's easier than going to this route where you have to roast them and then you're checking on them. Are they done? You know, there's a lot of thought to doing Brussels sprouts. But if you find yourself in a bind or you find yourself in a pinch for a quick side, I highly recommend just chopping them in half, doing this recipe, and you'll get the same result in a fraction of the time.
So if you're a little worried about cooking with Brussels sprouts or you're worried about taste, that bitter taste from Brussels sprouts, try this recipe because that sweetness that goes in from the honey and from the dried fruit will actually help balance out that bitterness from the Brussels sprouts.
Right. Look at you. You're like a foodie.
I've been waiting for this.
You're a foodie. And it's really fun to do things outside of the normal too. Because when we see certain vegetables like Brussels sprouts, we kind of get intimidated. Do we need to peel them? Do we need to blanch them? How are we going to cook them? And again, like, are they cooked enough? Just explore your options and always ask Rosa. And Rosa has the resources to find it out. And that's what cooking's all about, is networking and connecting. This person might know this technique. Well, I know this technique. It's all about having fun. So if you're cooking this, you're starting to notice that it's turning a vibrant green.
Oh yeah.
From this kind of like pale green, we have a nice, vibrant, colorful green. If you're one who likes crunchy feel, turn your pan off. You're done. But I like them a little cooked. I like a little bit of caramelization. So I'm just gonna let them go. We're almost done.
Oh, I'm like so excited.
And what I love about this dish too, like let's say you're doing a buffet or you're doing a dinner and you want them on like a holding table, these hold beautifully. They don't turn dark green like spinach. They don't get small like kale. These hold the form. They hold that beautiful green, and it just is a long-lasting side. It really is.
I do want to say something real quick. Usually, like when I've cooked Brussels sprouts, I have that same thing with broccoli where you get that smell around the house. And, you know, like my dad would be like, ew, it smells funny. It does not smell like that right now.
No, it smells like Christmas.
Yeah, it smells really good.
So I did my flip towards the center, and I'm starting to see a little bit of browning. And I'm liking that because I want to kind of work on this nutty, sweet, caramelized onion, you know, feel. So I like where it's at. I'm going to turn my pan off because I have heat still continuing from the bottom. This is where I'm going to come and season it.
A little bit of salt and pepper.
A little bit of salt and pepper, thank you. And make a blend at your house. If you're one that always likes to season, make a blend. I like to do 70% salt, 30% pepper. Other people like 50-50, but I like it to be more on the salt than the pepper.
And that's totally up to you at home. If you want to stay away a little bit from the sodium, then maybe you want to go 50-50 or even 60-40, more pepper, less salt.
Right. Okay, your pan's off. If you had that old apple, throw it in now. And you don't want to cook it too much because it's already ripe, you know what I mean? But this is going to give that nice pop of sweetness from the apples, and immediately you're going to start to smell it. Do you smell?
Oh, I smell it.
Like the apples hit, as soon as they hit heat, they already release that delicious like apple pie smell. We got honey working, cranberries, Brussels sprouts working, and this is such an easy dish. I mean, I'm not stressed out.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so we're ready to plate up. You can pour this in now. I'll pour in just a little bit because there's still a little bit left, and if you see that like beautiful caramel drizzle, and then just give it a nice toss.
You guys need smell-o-vision.
Dude, seriously. All right, so that's it. If you can see it, it's beautiful green. It hasn't lost its color. It's not burnt. It doesn't smell burnt.
No.
It just smells just so warm and seasonal. So we're going to kind of plate this up. And I'm just pouring it into a bowl, kind of like a salad style. Get some height on it too, and I'll show you.
This is so good.
Okay. Just a nice serving bowl. And what we're going to do now is take the other half of our nuts and sprinkle them over the top. Take a little bit more of your dried cranberries, sprinkle over the top, and some shredded Parmesan cheese just over the top.
And you can never go wrong with cheese.
And you can't. No, you can't. And you got honey, cheese, apple, cranberries. It looks like something you would want. Here, I'm gonna reach it over. But if you can see that, it's just amazing. It's easy to look. It's easy to cook. It's beautiful to look at. If you, like I said, if you're in a bind, I highly recommend going and getting some Brussels sprouts, shaving them. Watch this video. 20 minutes later, you got that. I'm telling you, it's that easy. So, Rosa,
yes,
it's always, we reach this time where you have to try the food.
Let me go right here.
Yes, here, I'll switch you spots. And it's hot. Be careful. But, and again, you didn't see me add a lot of salt. If you think it needs more salt, add a little bit more salt. But you can always add. You can't take away. So keep that in mind. Where's my fork?
That is really good.
It's warm. It's still got a little bit of body, so it doesn't feel like overcooked vegetables.
I can't even tell that's Brussels sprouts. Sorry.
I outdid myself on this one because it's simple, it's delicious, it's sweet. It's still savory because of Brussels sprouts, but it's just like Christmas.
It's a Christmas party in my mouth.
Awesome.
This is great.
Rosa approved, Food Link approved. I'm Chef Sam. This is Rosa. You can hit her up on YouTube on Ask Rosa. You can find me on Instagram at restaurantflavors_. And if you have any questions, you know where to find us. You guys have a really good night. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next year.
And did she cut us off?
No.
Oh. And if you have any suggestions for the next recipe, anything that you're curious about, that you want to learn how to cook, and you want Chef Sam to help us out, go ahead and let us know in the comments.
Yes, anything. I'm telling you. Honestly, the crazier, the more left field, I'm down. So, again, you guys have a Merry Christmas. See you next year.
Bye.
Bye.
Give me the fork.
Yeah.